For about the first 4 years, it was just me. You know how
Just you.
that is, right?
Yes, I
Yeah.
know exactly how that is. And I will say this. I want to get into the content for today, but I want to give Jeff a good shout out for his event and to thank him for doing this and reviewing this on the webinar today. Is if you go to his event in January, pay attention closely to the types of people you meet in his office. It's one thing to sit back and watch these webinars and to read the books and to think theoretically about I need to build a team of people. And your bias is going to be you're going to hire a bunch of people like yourself. You're going to hire a bunch of people like the rainmaker that you are and the high D individual. And the biggest aha that hit me when I went to offices to understand how a team worked was the difference in personality types of the individuals on the team and maybe how I had to adjust my natural going get business marketing salesmanship behavior to other people on the team. And that's one of the cool things you'll find when you go to Jeff's event is getting a feel for the types of people of the different offices they run. And I'm sure there was some point, Jeff, where you realized you couldn't hire everyone just like yourself.
Yeah.
Yes.
Here's what I found out. I actually want to hire people that are not like me.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
know? And so at the end of the day, it's one of these things where, if I hire a bunch of me's running around, then we're not going to be very successful.
Cool. All right, guys, so let's get into it. So my name is Frank Kleswitz. I'm the CEO of Vyral Marketing, where we interview you on a webcam to create helpful educational videos to help you stay in touch with your number one asset. Your assets in your business are your people. They are your systems, but they're also your database, your past clients, your sphere, any warm leads that you're nurturing. What are you doing to build a relationship with those people so they call you, not your competitors? And what are you doing to stay in touch with past clients so they hire you again and not your competitors? And a good database touch campaign that's useful and helpful, and ideally something so good, the content is arguably so good, it's a high standard, but so good people will be willing to pay for it is a great plan. So many years ago, I studied, what's the best database marketing plan. That's how Vyral has grown. We implement that for you. Jeff has hired us, been a client for a long time. And what I want to dive in today is how Jeff is executing on that video marketing plan. If you go to our website, getvyral.com, VYRAL, you can actually download a copy of the exact video marketing plan that Jeff is following in his business. It's on the homepage. And you can follow along with that. And that's what we're going to cover in depth so you can see some real examples and to see how he's executing it over time and how that's, working. All right. So Jeff, take me back to where you realized to fulfill the goals that you wanted while you built your team, that you had to become the marketer of what you do and not necessarily the doer of what you do. That you had to work on acquiring the client, not so much servicing the client. When was that? And tell me about that time of your life.
Well, it was my very first transaction. I'll tell you how I realized that is I got into real estate business and borrowed $1,500 from my dad to get started. And, I got laid off from corporate America and basically started a real estate career. And I remember spending all of that money on just useless real estate agent things that didn't really drive any traffic. And I was under the mindset, if you build it, they will come, right? So I was like, if I go out here and get my real estate license and just tell everybody that I'm a real estate agent, surely they're going to want to use me to buy and sell a home. And nobody responded to that. Nobody wanted to use me to buy or sell their home right up front, my friends or whatever. And basically I was telling them, hey, look, I'm a rookie agent. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm brand new. I want to help you out. And so it's kind of one of these things that didn't work. And so at that point in time, I realized, what, I've got to find a way to be able to get some warm leads coming in so that, and maybe these are people relocating that don't know anybody or whatever it may be. Because at the time, I was a college age kid. I didn't really have a big sphere of influence of people that were buying homes. So I said, let me go out and try to find some leads that I could invest in. And back then, Craigslist was popular. It was before the whole Facebook lead generation thing.
This is back in like 2003 and 4.
Yeah, 3, 4, 5, 6, all through there. It was just steady posting, ads on Craigslist and running open. It was all the low hanging fruit that didn't cost a ton of money. That's kind of what we had to do to start off with.
Okay.
And, as time went on, we realized that the power of the CRM and figuring out the database and, keeping in touch with the past clients became, we've already paid for these leads. So we got to nurture them and we got to stay in touch with them and get referrals from them. So over time, that's what we started seeking to figure that out. So we invested more and more money into those avenues.
So I'm just curious to kind of get the story leading up to Vyral, which I think you probably worked with us around 2012 or 13. Tell me a little bit about how fast, like year one, year two, year three, year four, work your way up to 2013. How much business were you doing in 012, 013? Can you remember?
Yeah, I'd say, let me do the math here. So around 10, we were doing about 130 deals. And then we worked our way up into the 200s and 300s between 2011, 2012, 2013. And the hardest thing I did in my real estate career ever was to break through 100. That was the hardest thing. It took us like 6, 7 years, 8 years almost to break through 100 deals.
And I have to ask, what was the one thing to help you break through that?
It is the same thing that it is now, which is interesting. It's the same thing that helped us break through 1,000, which is, get out of your own way and don't try to do all of the heavy lifting yourself. Invest in your people and hold them accountable. Hire good people. Have those people help you to carry the wagon. Because the best year I ever had, I did 96 home sales, and I ran myself crazy. When I say 96, I mean me personally that year. I did 96 of the sales myself. We still didn't break 100, and I did 96. And I realized, I'm like, the only way I can do this is to have a team. And so it's all about pouring into your team, hiring the right people. And that's what we're going to talk a lot in January. Our thing is recruiting, because we recruited, as I said, we have 80 active agents right now. They're all team agents, which is really cool. They're all in 50-50 type splits. It's not a brokerage model at all. We provide them all of their leads. And so hiring the right people and then finding the right metrics to hold those agents accountable is by far the biggest thing that we did to break through 100 deals.
That's great. So we're going to get to viral marketing here in about 2011, 2012, which is really hiring people, which is what you did with your agency to take care of a piece of your business. But you're at this point doing 96 deals, just killing yourself. And you're making good money. But for pretty much up until that point, like when you would earn money, it's all yours. And maybe you would invest a little bit back into CRM and some lead generation. And you know how to take your own money and hire and invest it in people. Can you tell me like the shift and the challenge and the psychological maybe struggle that was to go spend $12 an hour on someone, which is $2,000 a month, or $4,000 a month in hiring someone that doesn't know anything, that may leave, that may quit, to start taking over some of the administrative work or giving leads to agents that you don't know if they're following up? Talk to me a little bit about some of the challenges that you had to have to first start hiring people. And we're going to start getting to hiring viral marketing, what you did with your database.
Yeah. So in the beginning, hiring that first assistant, I have to admit, she was not the most amazing assistant, but it still freed me up and leveraged me to be able to get out in the field and do what I did best, which is selling. So, the amount of money that I increased by my production more than paid for the crappy job that she ultimately did. But it was still worth it, and it helped me understand the power of leverage. And I started thinking about it, and I was like, if I could get somebody highly trained that would do this, and actually the second person that I hired, I still have sitting about 20 feet to my left over here, is still with me today. So that's been 11, 12 years ago that I've had this person along with me, and we've grown it, like I said, up to about 20 by now. But understanding the power of leverage with agents and administrative staff, it was just so powerful. It really is what propelled us. And that following year, we went to 126, and then the following year after that, one of the systems started kicking in. We then went to 226. So we increased by 100 units that year. The very thing that took us 8 years to achieve to begin with the 100 units. That next year, we increased by 100 units, which was really cool. And it was because of the power of learning our systems, perfecting our systems. And we have a rule around the office that's basically anytime that we feel pain, whether that be pain with servicing a client, pain interacting with each other, collaborating together with agents, because you've got a bunch of administrative staff, some high S's, maybe mixing a little bit of D in there to try to get stuff done, right? Which is pretty hard to find, by the way. But you mix those along with the D and the I sales agents that are just out there that are horrible at details. There's going to be a rub. There's going to be a rub. So just getting them to see that bigger vision of, in order to do this job, real estate, it requires multiple personalities that is just not typically all found in one person. The administrative paperwork side is not typically the closer at the kitchen table. And so they're both necessary, but they both have a rub at the same time. So keeping that vision in front of everyone that, look, without the administrative staff, you as the agent can't be supported. And without the agent, you as the administrative staff won't have revenue coming in to pay the salaries. And so as we progressed through that time, tried to sort of figure that out. it dawned on me. I said, you know what? We've got to just invest more time and energy and money into, database management. And that was about the same time that I happened to meet you guys. And we were talking just before this call. I remember I met you. You were at a conference that we were attending. And the funny part is that, everybody, all the other vendors that were there had like 8 people ready to sick, whoever walked up to the desk. And Frank's,
I had no money. It was just myself. I think I put the booth on a credit card.
yeah, and what's funny is you weren't even at the booth. That's the best part about it. He literally installed a sign that said, "Call me if you care to talk," and then he's out floating, mingling around. And so, sure enough, I was like, "Well, I'm gonna call this guy. I can see what this is all about, man." So, sure enough, I called him up to talk to him about video marketing and all that stuff. We've been doing it ever since, man. And I figured, if these people on average are going to move every 7 years, some are going to move 3 months from now, some are going to move 20 years from now, but on average, 5, 7 years, whatever it is, if they're going to move, we got to stay in touch with them. We got to, rub elbows with them. We got to level on them. We got to invite them to some client events. And that's just increased over time. We've gotten better by doing videos. And I know a lot of people, man, they're so scared to just get in front of the camera and do videos. The videos that we mess up on the most are the ones that get the most views. And I think it's because it makes you relatable. And so the thing is people that are watching this that don't have Vyral saying, I don't want to get, it's funny. The same webcam that Frank told me to get several years ago with the same light and all that stuff is the same webcam that I'm using right here, right now, to do, the videos. And so the idea is for us, it's don't worry about, are you going to get in front of the camera and mess up and all that stuff, but you got to get some video evidence out there and some emails outgoing and some social media presence with your videos. And that Vyral has helped us out with that a ton. So I want to say thank you, Frank, for what you've done for us throughout the years of getting us in front of our hot clients, but also back in front of our past clients to serve them up with this video marketing. And if somebody's watching has never seen that, jeffcook.tv, jeffcooktv.com is our website that people can check out. And that's all created by Vyral Marketing. You guys did all of that for us. And as we upload more video, you guys just continue to manage that site, make it SEO friendly for us and all that stuff. So I want to say thank you, buddy, for helping me out through the years of doing that, because that's a big rock in our business.
Well, thanks for sticking around with that as I built this thing for 6, 7 years. You've been a client. Thank you, because it hasn't always been a smooth ride as I figure out everything.
Yeah.
Well, let's go back to 2012. Thanks for all that. Yeah. You realize that, I need to hire some people to help with a piece of my marketing. So that's leverage. All right. And you needed a good database touch plan. So what is your database touch plan? So you probably have been around debating what's the best database touch strategy. I know Vyral's a piece of it. It's a piece of a larger plan. Why don't you share, like, inside JCRE? I'm sure you're going to go over this. Give us a preview of what that plan is.
Well, here's the first thing. It starts with mindset, and I'll share with you our plan, but it starts in mindset. Okay. And whenever you're talking to your agents about follow up with your leads, whenever you're talking to your sales manager, you got to hold these agents accountable. Whenever you're thinking about past clients, here's really what it boils down to. All right. So we've got several platforms. We use, these Commissions Inc. and different ones, whether it's that or Boomtown, whatever you use, to house all of your leads in. Here's the reality of it. Take the number of leads that you've got that are in there. All right. And then so say you farm out the ones that don't have bad phone numbers, whatever. And then you have this new number. One of our databases we've got, and we have multiple. Each office has one, but one of our databases has about 35,000 leads in it. And again, we've been at it for a long time. So that's a high number. Most people won't have that high of a number, but just follow this math for a second. We know that about 36% of the population is renters and about 64% of the population owns a home or lives in a home that's owned. So we think 64% of our 35,000 will at some point in time become a homeowner or wanting to sell their existing home. Okay, so we take 64% times the 35,000, and then we know that they move, let's say conservatively, every 7 years. So count up how many days are in 7 years. I think it's like 2,500 or something like that. So I take 35,000 and I divide it by the 2,500. Every single day, I have 7 to 8 people in my database that's doing a real estate transaction every single day. And so whenever we're talking to our agents internally or past clients or whatever, we've just got to become masters of the database, because what most real estate agents are doing is going out to churches and bars and everywhere in between and just trying to meet people and trying to get them excited about buying a home, which is why the average agent in America sells 5 to 7 homes a year and makes like 30 grand and is 54 broke and divorced. Uh, the idea for us is we got to figure out, that's like going out and showing a home or meeting somebody. That's like step 3 of the process. And that's where most agents start. They start in step 3. And what they miss is step 1 and 2. It's almost like when you go to the HGTV show, you turn the HGTV on, you watch these things. They start filming whenever the real estate agent walks in and shakes hands with the buyer and seller. All right, that's the fun part, right? That's when people are out meeting buyers and sellers, and then they go find a home and multiple offers. All that's step 4, 5, and 6, right? But what is step 1 and 2? Step 1 and 2 is marketing, generating leads, and step 2 is converting those leads to face-to-face appointments. And that's where the high producing teams are really, really, really good, is they understand that step 3 is really step 3. And most real estate agents across America think step 3 is actually step 1. So we spent a lot of time, creating the lead, and step 2, converting the lead and investing into that lead, which is part of the system that you've helped us create and keep in touch with our past clients as well. But if we look at this from a standpoint of, okay, who are the 8 people today that are in our database that are going to buy a home? It's our job to go and find those people. And doing 1,300 homes a year, we sell a home on average every 6.5 hours. We sell a home. And that's 24-hour days. It's not business hours. It's all day. So every 6 hours, we're writing a contract. But there's 8 people in our database that are going to buy a home every day. So we're still missing it. And so that's why we're continuously boarding new agents, continuously getting better at converting our leads and staying in touch with our past clients, because we know every single day there's going to be 8 people in there that are going to do a real estate transaction, either with us or without us, based on statistics.
This is great. So there's your mindset. What are you doing to communicate with all these people?
Yeah.
So you're hopefully there and they remember you and choose you as the agent.
Yeah.
And also perceive you as the expert, because you're not the lowest cost provider agent in the area by any means.
Nope, not at all.
Not at all.
Absolutely. No, not at all. We got a big team to run, man. A lot of marketing costs money.
So you have to create this feeling, this perception, not perception, just communicate like you're like one of the best and you charge for it. You want people to use you. Can you give us what your database marketing plan is? I know with Vyral, I'll answer this.
Well, let's start with that because the past clients are the low-hanging fruit for sure, because it doesn't cost any money to generate a past client. You already have a past client. So let's start with that. And so, of course, we send out the 2 personalized videos every single month out to all of our database. And so what we do is you guys take care of all the emailing for us, which is perfect. We record those videos, and I do it, everybody does it differently. It's funny because I have 6 shirts, 7 shirts, and just go up into the video room and knock out 2 months, 3 months at one time, and it's done. I spend a day doing it and it's game over, done. But I didn't start that way, because after one, I was like, oh my gosh, it took 45 minutes to record. I was freaked out a little bit. I got a lot better.
Well, it's funny you say that. Let me jump in real quick.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Those of you freaking out about making video, the easiest way to start on video is to answer a question, to do a format of Q&A. Like I would ask Jeff a question and he would answer it. And it's even easier when it's an interview where you're having a conversation with somebody. So we actually send you this webcam that Jeff's using right now. We actually kind of more or less Skype in, just like this webinar you're watching. And we ask you questions that you talk to us, and then we edit ourselves out and we create the video. And Jeff graduated from that, which is where you start, to just going and standing in front of a camera in his office somewhere, which takes a decent amount of skill set to be comfortable doing that. And being authentic while you're at it too. So anyways, go on.
And it's advanced a lot, because back in the day when you sent me the first webcam, you said, "Hey, send us." We didn't do it together. You just gave me a list of topics. So I'm glad to know that it's advanced.
Now we're actually interviewing people in real time to make it easy.
Perfect. Okay, even better. That makes it real simple. Real simple. And then you guys help do the editing and all that stuff. So all right, well, perfect. So yeah, that's definitely not how I started. So I had to cut my teeth the old-fashioned way. But the other thing that you guys help us do is whenever it comes time, so we do 3 or 4 client events every year. We invite them to the baseball game. We invite them to the hockey game. We also invite them out to, in Thanksgiving, we get one of our favorite times of the year is coming up. We got Thanksgiving Pie Day giveaway, which is just awesome. We got Valentine's Day.
How many pies do you give away, Jeff?
We're this year, I think we're going to be knocking out around 1,000, 800 to 1,000. I think that's Costco. It's a lot of pies, man. It's a lot of pies. Costco.
That's 1,000 people coming to you to pick it up?
Yeah, they drive to us to pick it up.
How's that nice for a referral opportunity?
Oh yeah,
Buy or sell. That's 1,000 inbound leads.
We'll sell exactly. We'll sell 20, 30 homes just that one day alone. So it was worth the investment for the pies, right? And so it'll cost us 10 grand to buy the pies, but so what? We'll get 10 commissions out of it. It'll be fine. And so the thing is that we got past client events to try to keep in touch. And what we found out is that what's really cool about a past client event is we may send out, we may have, 5,000 to 6,000 past clients. I think even 7,500 or so if we add in our hottest leads that we're working right now. So
That's
I think
incredible.
it's we have between 5,000 and 6,000 past clients plus, again, our everybody that we plan to sell a home to in the next 6 months. So add 1,500 to it, about 7,500 invitations go out. Only 10% of those, 750 or so, will come pick a pie up.
Mhm.
But you get credit with 7,500 people, but you only pay for 750 people, if that makes sense. And any client event is the same thing. It helps them keep you top of mind awareness. It helps them think, you know what, that's a nice gesture, a nice thing. They invite us to that. And they may even have good intentions to go in, but for whatever reason, they just don't show up. Point is, you only spend $750 for the tickets for the baseball game or whatever it may be. But you get credit with 7,500 people. And so whatever your past client database is, take 10% of that. And that's probably how many people will actually show up and partake in what you're doing. And that we had to work up to that. It wasn't that high in the very beginning, but as we've stayed in touch with past clients and our ISA team, we drop voicemails to them. We do.
It's also a great excuse to touch your database with an invitation to an event.
Absolutely. Yeah. We're not calling them and asking for anything. We're just calling them and saying, hey, you want to come along to a party?
Yeah.
Come along to a baseball game or whatever. Bring your family, whatever you want to do.
So 2 videos a month, 4 events a year.
Mhm.
What else?
Yeah. So we do drop some random emails to them. We also drop some random postcards to them. We do 4 actual hard copy, old fashioned newsletters. So we do that as well. So we sprinkle those in. So every month, on top of the 2 videos, they're either getting an event or a mailer or a newsletter. And so we sort of stay in touch with them 3 times a month, 36 times a year. That's kind of our goal.
And you know what? That for everyone watching this, that is a fundamental business system that if you're looking to run a business, that you must get in place. That when you look to top producers, you look to anyone selling a decent number of homes, there is a very common theme of events. I mean, think about it, Jeff. How much technology is there? How many shiny objects do you see? And what I hear is giving away pies at events. Did I hear direct mail, Jeff?
Yeah.
Old school direct mail. I heard that, right?
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, you're sending out 2 videos a month through technology, but it's more you're just kind of posting over online. It's really you creating the content, and that's been working well for you. And you have 15 years of figuring out that's the recipe. Mm-hmm. That is the best database touch plan. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. Yeah, if we were to add in, it would be more additional phone calls with, CMA opportunities, things like that, neighborhood updates. Yeah. It's just there's so many of them. We don't, with 6,000 past clients, we just don't have the ability to do that.
Well, one of the things I don't know if you're doing, but when we send these videos out to your list, I can track who clicks the links. Do your ISAs ever make any calls to people engaging with the material?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, especially when they click the home value link. Like that's
exactly that one. That's most best one.
That's hey, you guys want to do that for a reason. Let's talk about what that reason is.
Well, let me share that really quick. So we have this database of all these contacts that Jeff has, and twice a month, we send this helpful personalized video out to his list. And there's also some call to actions in the email, such as if you're thinking about buying a house, you can click here and search all homes for sale on the MLS with pictures. Click here. And there's another call to action that says if you're thinking of selling your home, you may want to know what it's worth. And if you put your address in here, it'll tell you what your home is worth based upon some public tax data, whatever it may be in the area. And that's kind of way upstream how you would generate a buyer or seller lead from a home search or a free home value report. So a few days after this email goes out, we'll print and send Jeff a report of everyone not only who watched the video, but also anyone who clicked the call to action links is what we call it. And we move the call to action links to the very top, and you can email or call those people with a script like, hey, I'm just reaching out because I see you subscribe to my videos. I want to invite you to an event. And maybe get a little conversation started. And usually those conversations maybe turn into something real estate related because they have a behavior that they've been interacting with your stuff recently. It's a good way to filter down 35,000 of who to call, right, Jeff?
Absolutely. Hey, I'll tell you one thing that we've done in addition to this is that we've included that same call to action in the video script. So whenever we conclude the video at the very end, we'll say, hey, just, outside this box, we'll go through the same script. If you want to search available homes for sale, see what's getting ready to come on the market, click that. And then also, if you want to know what your home is worth, just click here and it'll tell you what your house, the approximate value is. And we found that increases our response ratio whenever we add that call to action just in the video as well.
That's great. So one of the things I want to share is, oh my goodness, do I have one of my little business cards here? So that entire plan that you shared, is one of the things we'll be doing at Vyral. I don't have the reflection on it. You can see my screen here, but is all written on the official video marketing plan. This is the actual plan we teach exactly. I don't think you even know this, Jeff, at Vyral. Is the 2 videos a month, the monthly piece of direct mail, which we do like a little special video postcard. So we can actually take a 4x6 postcard, put the video on the front with a call to action on the back, and direct mail your entire list once a month in addition to your 2 videos going out. That's included in the service. I don't think you're using that because you're doing other direct mail. That's possible. And the way that we suggest that you break into a farm, or gosh, there's a giant reflection on this on my screen. You can maybe see that there, is holding and hosting events just like you're doing in areas to meet people. And that's how you bring people into your database. So kudos to you, my friend. That's great.
Hey, man. Good minds think alike, right?
Yeah, it's very good. So let me ask you some more questions to go deeper on your database. So I think everyone understands, how you kind of got started. You started hiring people. You had to hire maybe some marketing people at Vyral to handle that process for you because you don't want to be doing video editing and doing that stuff in-house. You outsource that as more efficiently and cheaply, right? And you needed a comprehensive database plan, which is what we just covered. But now I want to go a little bit deeper, okay? Let's talk about building the database. You have no idea how many, well, you do probably, I'm sure you know, how many agents I speak to that have gone their whole careers and have built no list. No list. Past clients, nothing there, haven't been staying in touch, haven't been really not even necessarily a CRM, maybe a glorified Gmail or post-it notes, but no way to consistently communicate. So what do you teach your agents and what do you do to build your database beyond just, putting the leads to opt in from the home buyer search sites on your stuff? How do you build
Yeah.
your
Well, a couple things. So whenever we incentivize our agents as well, because one thing that we learned is that it takes an army, right? So we've got 80 agents, and so one thing that we do is we teach them to kind of help create their sphere of influence, and then give them a higher incentive from a real estate split standpoint to be able to incorporate that. So we're helping them market to their sphere of influence by providing some websites and drip emails and things like that. The other thing is too is that we do a ton of open houses. We love open houses. We love the old school open house. So each week we probably have anywhere from 8 to 10 open houses going on throughout the city, and then of course 20, 30 signs for each one. So creating a list that way by doing some Facebook marketing right on top of the open house, circumference around the property.
Yeah, it sounds like the open house strategy of who shows up to add them to the list is very powerful.
Mm-hmm.
How many of those are buyers versus nosy neighbors?
I'd say, so here's what we do. So we do two big things for marketing, and they're both very, very simple. One, of course, is the walk-in. That's what the main reason we're doing the open house. And the reason we like open houses, by the way, is because if somebody's gonna get out of their car and walk into a property and they're serious, they're a lot further along in the transaction process than somebody that's going to start searching from their living room. If you're getting butts out of seats and getting in the car and actually driving the neighborhood, that person's a lot further along in the actual process of
That's
buying.
good lead.
But on top of that, in order to capture the surrounding neighbors, we came up with sort of a 2 or 3 strategy process where a 2 or 3 post strategy where we'll at first say have an open house coming this weekend. Of course, Wednesday we'll drop the sign in the yard, say open house coming this weekend. And then afterwards we'll drop out and say, to kind of hover over the property and say, if you're interested in selling your home as well, then we can help you complete an open house just as you've seen it. So that's helped us create some additional listing leads. And then on our sold signs, we make sure that whenever the property goes into contract, we've gotten specialized name writers that says Jeff, sell mine too, and then a specific phone number to call. So every single time that we put a property under contract, we've got 160, 170 signs in the air at any given time. So whenever we put a property under contract, we'll take the for sale writer off of it, put the sold writer on there along with the verbiage of Jeff, sell mine too, and then a specific phone number that goes to our listing agents. Where
Do you own JeffSellMine2.com?
Yeah.
Of course you do.
Yeah, and it just runs back to a home value page. It creates us, home value, and the phone number is a direct response phone number that our listing agents, receive that phone number and just sort of go from there. And so that's another way that we build the list between that sphere of influence. And we pay for a lot of leads. Now, early on, it was all about paying on the streets and meeting as many people as possible. We've been fortunate enough. I remember one time, one of my real estate coaches back a long time ago told me, they said, look, you either have to brand yourself by spending, tons of money, $20,000, $30,000 a month, or you got to be able to do, tons of phone calls every week. one or the other. And I remember looking at them and was like, well, I can't wait for the day that I can do both. So we're going to do both. And that's what we do. We spend a ton of money on marketing. So a lot of the leads we generate are paid leads, just because we have such a team that is producing and moving so quickly, is between pay-per-click and Facebook and billboard, radio, TV, everything that we all do together to match and bring those leads in. That's basically how we're going about doing it.
Here's what I hear. Yes, at some point when you have the money, which
Right.
is going to be on the latter part of your real estate journey, you can buy radio, you can buy TV, and you can generate leads that way, where you ultimately have to scale yourself. We have a lot more money than time. But on the way up, it sounds to me like this foundational core of your business is an event strategy. You have the 4 events a year and 6, 7, 8 open houses a week with full drops. Like, it's like almost like a farming method, right? And using that event as an excuse, it probably helps your newer agents too. Prospect inviting to events and trying to call them expired.
Right.
When it comes to building the database, so there's an event-based strategy. Let me ask you another question. How many people, I wonder if you know this, or you can extrapolate, how many people does your office speak to a week about real estate?
Oh man. So we require our agents to do, about 8 hours of prospecting every week.
So let's do a calculation here. Okay.
Yeah.
I want to get this number. So you have 80 agents, right?
80 agents. Yep.
How many?
I would say we ask for 8 hours, and I would say, let's just be conservative and call it 5. So 80 agents times 5 hours a week is 400 hours of prospecting. Yeah.
And what do you think a typical contact rate is for that?
I would say, you should be able to do, even
6,
if you're
5.
Yeah, 5. I would say 5 would probably be a good
5
number.
people in an hour, right?
5 people in an hour, yeah.
So that's 400 hours of prospecting a week. Your office is speaking with 2,000 people a week. And that's just the agents. It doesn't include the ISAs.
Right.
So you're speaking to several thousand people every single week about real estate, not dials, contacts.
Yep. Absolutely. And that's what it takes. And even with that, we still hadn't found all 8 of the people that are going to buy a house today. We only found about 3 or 4 of them because, again, we sell a house every 6 hours. So we haven't found all 8. We can only find 4 of them, but there's 8 in there. So we're going to keep digging until we find some more. And I tell you, that's the key. The key is the average real estate person, whenever they come in and they raise their hand and say, hey, I'm interested, right? And so what does that mean? Whenever somebody says I'm interested, getting back into the mindset of it, Frank, I think is important, because people, and my agents get sucked into this hole too. They call the brand new leads. It's like, okay, somebody's brand new. I wonder if they want to go buy a home today. They just registered. Let me go see if I can find them. Or, they just came in for this open house. Let me go. And what we find is that the people that actually registered 3 months ago, 6 months ago, 9 months ago, 1 year ago, that we can stay in touch with, whether it be through the database or whether it be through the multiple videos that we're doing, those are the ones that are the hottest leads, And so we just have to switch our mindset. I would rather take 6 months old leads, 1 year old leads that have been properly nurtured. I'd rather take those any day of the week over a brand new lead, because the brand new lead is not going to do anything for 6 months to a year typically.
Whereas the ones in your database are closer to you.
Yeah, they're closer to the transaction, closer to the decision-making process, which goes back to the idea of why open houses are so successful, because after you buy the sign and spend $50 on Facebook marketing it, you don't really have to do much else. You go out and work the people that show up. But at the end of the day, it's highly effective, and the person that does walk through that door is ready to do something. And if you play your cards right, you can get the neighbors to walk through the door too.
That's great. Something I want to share with you here, Jeff. I'm sharing my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Something I don't know if you're doing this well, or maybe you could comment on this, but on this topic of building your database, you told me you're speaking to at least 2,000 people a week, right? And we want to make sure that the updated and best email address, maybe not the one they register online with, but their real address, let's say, that we have their best email address on file to get your videos. So one of the things we created here at Vyral Marketing is this internal opt-in form. And you'll build your database naturally by offering to stay in touch after every conversation. So here's what I'm getting at. So this little form here, we can create inside your email marketing account. It says add a subscriber. Who did you receive permission from who wants our newsletter? So imagine all 80 of your agents bookmark this link on their browser. And we train them and we incentivize them to reconfirm or to make sure they're getting a subscription to the Jeff Cook team, video newsletter, whatever it is, right? So here, there's a your name field. Now, this is very small. Let me see if I can zoom in maybe a little bit. Okay. Your name. You would have an 80 agent drop down right here of the agent selects their name. Got it. They put in the email of the person they spoke with and how they met that person. And if they want to, they can put in the name, phone number, email address, and click submit. That inserts that person directly into your email list, and you can track across all 80 agents who added the most emails that week. Got it? And here's what's also really cool. The number one email that's opened after somebody opts in or they give you permission to stay in touch is the confirmation email. And we'll create this. It was great to visit with you. You're now subscribed to our video newsletter from the Jeff Cook Real Estate team. Has links to all your call to actions and everything else. That kind of confirmation email will go out automatically once somebody opts in. So imagine if we can get your team to start asking permission to stay in touch, to reconfirm email addresses, putting the stuff in the forms, getting that confirmation email right away. You can start incentivizing and rewarding that. I want to let you know that that's an option.
Love it. I bet we really increased the database size.
Oh, big for sure. So I just want to kind of share that with the audience too, is like, if you want to build your list, obviously you have events, you meet people. How do you actually get them into your database? We'll give you a form. And that same form goes across to everyone. It's all bookmarked. And they just drop in the name of whose contact it is, put the email address in there, boom, and they go into your list, and a confirmation email gets kicked out right away to them. Kind of cool. All right. Let's move on. You've built this list, Jeff. All right. We went through your big plan to stay in touch earlier, but let's get a more granular. Video topics. For all these years you've been creating stuff, what's the best stuff? What's the stuff that gets you the most response and the most engagement? Be honest with us. If you had to choose and you had the time for 2 good quality videos a month that you want to send your list, what would you choose knowing what you know now?
Well, it depends a lot on what type of response you're trying to attract, right? Because you can run videos that will get a big response. You can also get videos that will get a quality response. You can get move up buyer. You can get first time seller. I think the first question is who do you want to respond? You know, who are you looking to respond to your videos? And so we love move up buyers. And the reason for that is because you get 2 transactions in one, right? So every month we try to pick 1 buyer video and 1 seller video. And what we do in our seller videos is seller videos by nature are more of, okay, I got to sell the house and what is that like? And, you know, what do you have? But buyer videos are a bit more emotional. It's exciting. It gets into, you know, the dream home and the exciting part and what's this going to mean for you and your family. And it's just more of a positive emotional experience. So a buyer video is a lot easier to deliver the video. Because it's something fun, looking forward to it. How do I save money? How do I go, you know, get pre-approved and all of that? But whenever you're talking on the seller video, what we found over time, the ones that get the best response are the ones where you can take a nugget, just a single nugget from your listing presentation. So, you know, what are the top 10 things that make your listing presentation unique to you? You know, maybe it's, you know, you're going to do an open house or whatever. And so we actually talk about how that specific piece of our listing presentation is the reason why that they should consider selling their home with us. So it makes it unique. It's not just a informational video, it's informational, but also why ultimately that we may be the best fit for them to help them sell their house. And the reason that we started doing that is that whenever the agent, which I don't go to the listing table anymore, but whenever my agents, or if it were myself, when we would get to the listing table, now that's the second time that they're hearing that same information. And so it starts sinking in and it starts making more of an effect over time. So our seller videos are basically broken down with certain nuggets of the listing presentation over time, over the next few months. So every single month, we include a nugget in our seller video.
Cool. I'm scrolling through your video blog right now, if you can see that.
Sure, absolutely.
Homeowner tips, seller tips.
That's a recruiting video there as well. And we found that recruiting videos work well also. And then so adding on the buyer side, on the buyer video, what we're doing there is just simply going through, you know, how do we find you the best property? We always tend to the fact that because we're our team has so many properties coming on the market, we always have properties that, you know, may not be available to be found publicly online. So that's one of our big calls to actions is, you know, it's going to help you to get in touch with us because we probably have a property coming up next week that will be perfect for you. And until we know what you're looking for, there's no way that we can determine what that property may be. So reach out to us and let us know. That's one of, everybody always is looking. That's why people hit 7, 8, 10 websites at once searching for these properties, because they're always looking for that one property that's perfect for them and their family that they're going to buy, significantly underpriced or whatever it may be. And so whenever we hint at that, saying we've got properties coming next week, but we don't know what you are searching for in your property yet, that drives a good call to action and a response as well. But then, of course, the pitfalls. What are the pitfalls in buying a home? It's got to do with financing. It's got to do with renting a contract. It's got to do with finding the actual property. So we just hit those three things over and over and over, but we hit different facets of it, right? So it might be, okay, you're concerned about financing. Okay, well, you should know that if you have a couple $1,000s saved and you're gainfully employed with a 600 credit score, we probably have a home that could fit for you. Well, if that's the case and if somebody's watching that video, then of course we take those same things, we publish it to the blog that you just showed, plus to Facebook as well. And so that whole bit is just this, we call it the tornado effect, where it just gets out and just churns and people see that and come back and respond and then land on our website. They fall into our web of buyer leads that we're just working. And then that's sort of how our agents are creating all these opportunities to get up to bat to try to sell this many homes.
That's great. You know your stuff, Jeff.
Well, I'll tell you one really good nugget, Frank, that I wanted to share.
Yeah.
Whenever you're advertising for agents, okay, this is something that we never expected. But whenever you advertise for agents, if you say in there, the reason that we're advertising for agents is we have so many buyers. We have so many buyers right now that we need more agents. The second effect of that is if you're thinking of selling your home and you just watch me say that on video, you're going to call because you want access to some of those buyers. And so we use our recruiting videos to talk to our sellers. Just to be clear on that, whenever we're recruiting agents and we're saying the reason we need agents to join us is because we have so many buyers. And by the way, if you're ever thinking of selling your home, some of these excess buyers we've got, they need to know about your property. We just killed 2 birds with one stone in one video. We've recruited a new agent. We've also got the seller to phone us at the same time.
You sent your whole list. Mm-hmm. So your buyers, your sellers, your past clients, everyone gets the recruiting video.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Interesting tip. That's very nice.
Yeah, that's been powerful for us, and that's helped us grow our agent base pretty significantly.
I would assume a lot of your agents aren't existing agents. They're just starting off in the business.
Yeah, I'd say 75% of the people that come to us are
not licensed.
Yeah, not licensed, getting in. And 25% have been with other companies, other teams, whatever it may be.
That's great. So we covered you leading. Well, before I get into kind of a recap where we are, I do have another question for you.
Sure.
You're at this point selling 90 some homes a year, super stressed out. How did you get to the point where you could take time back to meet with an assistant and train them? You could take a day, well now, but then take 30 minutes to record a video. Mm-hmm. That had to have been extremely hard.
Yeah, it was.
There was no time.
Yep.
Emails pouring in, clients not happy, but knowing I have to do some videos in the morning on Monday, or I had to go meet and actually talk and train my assistant in the middle of being completely swamped all the time.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that stage, because I could sense a lot of the audience is watching and feeling that right now when they have to take on these extra things.
Well, it's the scaling effect, right? It's if I bring an agent in, I got to, give half the commission to them.
And I got to train them, and the opportunity cost of my time.
Yeah, I bring an administrative person in. I bring an administrative person in, they mess it up. I might as well just do it myself. I don't have time to train them. They might leave. It's an HR issue. I got to buy more computers, more office space. I got to buy more leads because these agents aren't as good as converting as I am. All those are real feelings, and they are feelings that have to be dealt with. The best advice I can say is that whenever you're scaling with agents, so scaling with admin people and scaling with agents are two different things. Whenever you're scaling with agents, never ever replace anything that you're doing with a single agent. They're never going to be able to convert as good as you. I shouldn't say never. I have some guys on my team now that probably converted better than I did at my best point. But for the majority of the time, unless you have highly trained agents, they're not going to be able to convert as good as you because their name's not on the door. It's not their lead, it's your lead. And they're also getting a smaller paycheck than you are. So you have a bigger reward in order to kill it. So the idea is that if you're trying to replace any part of your business, the evolution of the real estate team first is replace yourself in front of a buyer. So you bring some buyer agents in, right? And you start giving them some buyer leads. Well, if I gave the average person watching, team leader, 10 buyer leads, they may sell a certain percentage of them, but if that person went and hired a buyer's agent, that buyer's agent's not going to sell as much as you would. So the point is that because you're giving up a little bit of your money on those leads and you're trying to buy back some of your time, you have to train 2 or 3 at a time. Do not hire one buyer's agent. That's
So
not
you
not smart.
hire in groups
Absolutely, 3 to 4 group interviews,
and you
group
take them all
training.
through as a group.
Absolutely, the
Don't
best way we
invest
do it.
entirely in one person.
Absolutely, never. And again, doesn't mean that you don't care about that one person. It means that if that one person decided that it wasn't for them or couldn't convert as good as you, are you still protected? And the way to be protected is put 3 of them in your back seat and say, look, we're going to do group training today. We're going to go out and do appointments. We're going to go out and do, conversion. We're going to make phone calls. We're going to do it as a group. And all 3 of us are going to do it. And so replace yourself with 3 agents. And whenever you're trying to get out of doing listings, which is a whole other discussion, don't replace yourself with one listing agent and you think you're going to stop doing listings, because you will fail. It will fail naturally. You have to replace yourself with 2 or 3 listing agents. You just have to do that also, because they're just not going to convert as good as you, and you don't realize you have a problem with these listings they're bringing in until months later and they don't sell. So on the administrative side, okay, I always see somebody that's this driver personality. It's like, you know what, they don't do it as fast as I do, and if I want it done right, I just need to do it myself. You have got to release the control. And the way that I finally overcame that was I wrote down on a list of paper. I said, let me look at every single day, every 15 minutes, what am I doing throughout the day? And so I want to attach $1 per hour to that activity, right? And so if I'm today we're doing this, webinar, maybe this is a high level thing, or if we're doing, prospecting, that's a high level thing, and we attach $1 per hour to that. Or if I'm uploading, papers in, from scanning papers in so that I could get them digitally signed, what is that? 12, 15, $20 an hour, maybe. So the idea is that I need to figure out which activities. So I take my total income for this year based on the number of home sales and divide it the number of working hours, and I get my worth per hour. Everybody's got a worth per hour. So get that worth per hour. And every single time that you do an activity that is in that less worth per hour, you're robbing yourself of being able to increase your income, which is now detrimental to yourself, your family, your financial future, and you're growing your team. So you've got to figure out how can you get rid of the $20 an hour activities or $15 an hour activities to somebody that is willing to come in and help you with that. And then you've got to have the self-control to not get frustrated with them whenever they won't do it as good as you. Again, your name's on the door.
Jeff, I can't even probably imagine the control you've had of working with our business for 6, 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
And, when people leave Vyral, the new coach you've gotten, I'm sure that's happened many times when we messed up an email.
Right.
And everyone in our office loves you. Everyone looks forward to talking to you. You have a remarkable temperament and skill to work with people in that respect, and I have to give you kudos on that.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's a challenge, but at the end of the day, you can't let that. Whenever your control overcomes your ability to make money in the future, that's a problem that the viewer has to fix. It's not a problem that your administrative person can never fix that.
Got it. So let's step back. I want to step back in case you're just joining us. So what Jeff Kona shared over the 15 years he's been in business, he got to a point where he was stuck at 100. He started hiring people, started delegating, started outsourcing, if you will, started building a team. Got to, it sounds like, a few hundred, hit another roadblock, and then pretty much you just started recruiting like crazy, up to 80 agents, getting you to 1,350 deals this year.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're just joining us, I do want to say this as we kind of wrap this up. There's a few other points I want to make, but Jeff, tell everyone really quickly about your event again coming up in January.
Yeah, so January 10th, InsideJCRE.com. We're going to open up the doors to all of our offices, and people come in and see our marketing strategies, our listing strategies, how we run our ISA team, how we do our lead generation, also to see our operations team, how they work from the listing side to the closing side, all the checklists and everything that we have. We're just inviting everybody along to come and see
cheap.
How we do it.
$175.
Yeah, 170. I think it's 175, $180, something like that, just to basically zero base the cost of the venue. So we're going to do it for a day and a half or 2 days. One of the days is going to be at the offices, interviewing everybody on my team, anybody that you want to go to. We have 4 different locations in Charleston. You could come and see any of them, ask any question that you want. The other day, we're going to be sitting and talking about database strategies. We're going to talk about mindset strategies, sales management strategies. We're going to have breakouts in each of those sessions. And that way you can decide which breakout you want to go to. Maybe you want to learn how did you recruit 80 agents? What did you do? What ads did you run? We're going to have a breakout for that. ulterior income methods, how we run our investment company division. We're going to have a breakout for that. We flipped 75 homes this year, which is a whole other business venture that we have. We're going to have a breakout on how to learn about that. How do we run our ISA team? How do they get paid? How do we manage them? We're going to have a breakout for that. So we're going to have main sessions, and then we're going to have breakouts as well. And then also, I think you guys are going to help us, try to video a lot of it, record a lot of it, so we can have future use. So thank you guys for helping us out with that. But again, insidejcre.com. The reason we call it that is, again, because we're going to invite everybody into the heart of it, right inside of JCRE, and to see what it's all about and how we've been fortunate enough to sell 1,350 homes just this year alone.
That's great. So if you go back to and you watch the replay of this, Jeff will share what his full database marketing plan is, the comprehensive plan to get more commissions from your database, which was 4 client events a year that you're basically inviting someone all the time. You're planning out the 4 events for the year up front, and you're inviting your database all the time to register. You have the 2 educational videos a month going out through the Vyral plan. You also have some piece of direct mail going out, right? Every month. Is it monthly or quarterly?
We do a quarterly newsletter, plus also we do monthly postcards.
So monthly postcards and quarterly newsletter. All right. And on top of that, you're calling them as much as you can by prioritizing the people clicking the links in the videos when we send those out.
Right.
And then when it comes to building the database, it sounds to me like your open houses are a big piece of that.
Yeah.
Obviously, all your marketing, but that's a given because you spend a fortune on branding and marketing, inbound inquiries and inbound buyer leads, registering. But I think the big thing here is that your office speaks to well over 2,000 people a week to generate those kind of opportunities, which is a big aha to get that going on. Question with your agents, the 80 agents on your team. I would assume most of these calls are very light in nature. You're not asking them to necessarily prospect expireds and fizzles. Probably not even enough in the market for 80 agents to call all those.
Right.
They're pretty much all responding in some way to inbound inquiries. Is that correct?
Right. Yeah, that is correct.
Wow, that's great.
We haven't really had a chance to really go after the expireds and for sale by owners, and I know we're leaving money on the table doing that, but we just haven't gotten to that yet. We're going to get to it. We just haven't had a chance to get there yet. So hopefully whenever we add that piece into the business, it'll help us increase yet again.
And when it comes to the video content, I mean, Jeff has years. You can go to jeffcooktv.com and see the video blog that we built for him. And you can scroll down here and see you include your team members to build into the team concept. So your team members in some of your videos, right, Jeff?
Right.
There he is. You have a very nice camera. And Jeff has upgraded from the webcam to probably the more professional video setup. But that was after years of mastering the basics. So you can check that out. And then you mentioned a little piece of the Vyral plan was we give you the engagement, the clicks, the people clicking the links. And your ISAs call those. Is there anything you could share on that of getting results out of the clicks, the engagement from the messages?
Yeah. So the thing is that there's no point to generate the click if you're not going to actually, follow up with the lead and prospect the lead, right? So that's a big piece of it, is first understanding who's engaging with you, but then also to follow up with these people and talk with them. So, calling up these people and offering a home value. We just, the automated home value thing is something that we use to our advantage. And I was reading the statistic the other day. It's like the average homeowner goes to get a Zestimate every twice a year or something crazy like that. So we're in the process of creating the Jeffstimate, by the way, which is going to be
Jeffstimate?
Awesome. Jeffstimate, yeah, it's going to be. We're on our new website. We're getting ready to roll that out. It's going to be amazing. But the automated home value, as you know, oftentimes are very wrong. So we just call, and that was our excuse for calling. Our excuse for calling is, hey, I saw that the automated system sent out something and told you your value. I think that something didn't go right. And so the reason I'm calling is because I wanted to see if there was a way that I could learn just a bit more about your property to get you a little more accurate assessment than what that automated system did. Right. And so that's helped out. That script's helped us out a lot. So same thing, whenever they click on the back end of your home value, whenever you guys send these videos out and you drop this Excel spreadsheet to us 2 days later, and it says this person clicked on home value, that's what we call and say is we want to try to help you get a more accurate value. And by the way, are you guys thinking of trying to move here, or what is it that we can help you with in terms of getting your property on the market?
That's great.
So that's sort of our script that we use to help engage the people that clicked on the videos that you guys send out for us.
Now, one of the things I will share at the very end here as we wrap up, we still live? We're still live. You're kind of known for some of your outrageous advertising.
Who, me?
Yeah,
Yeah, we have a
you're a
few.
little outrageous
Yeah, we have a few
in
real.
conservative Charleston, let's say,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Exactly.
Can I share your moving to Canada? Uh,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, if you
check
got
this
it.
out. This was in the heat of the election, and you got some pretty moving to Canada. We could sell your home, and you have a picture of Hillary and Trump. I mean, that had to have taken some guts, man. You look like a politician, and you ran. How many of these did you run around the city?
Um, I would say 10 or 15. We didn't run a substantial amount, but then as you can
You
see,
got picked up on national news.
oh yeah, dude, it did. It was on CNN. We got on Fox News. I mean, it was all over the place. And then the one, go back up, the one right there, the one with me, Rosie the Riveter. That
Yeah.
one got a lot of response, a lot of response, good and bad,
So
good
let me
and bad.
ask. So, what advice do you have to someone with their advertising to be
Well,
outrageous like you?
well,
And then we'll end
here's
the
the
interview.
thing. You can't if you're going to do what every other real estate agent does, just don't spend the money. Just don't. It's not worth it. You have to be unique. And if you're not going to be unique and want to put yourself out there just a little bit, I got people all the time that blast us on Facebook and say, "Man, you guys run these stupid advertisements all over the place." And it's like, so what? You're talking about us. Like that's the point of marketing
Yeah.
is you're talking about us. So these outrageous ads that you say you don't like are also the same reason that we're going to put 74 listings on the board this month. So at the end of the day, it's one of these things where you can't let the ego get in the way. You can't. It's all about how many families are we servicing, who does want to do business with us, who can we service. So we've recoined it. We don't coin it as a transaction or a sale anymore. It's now a family served, and that's how we look at it. It's what families can we serve, and if that requires some audacious advertising, then so be it. Let's do it.
That's good, Jeff. Well, thank you so much for the interview. The promise today was to help the audience get more commissions from the database. We went through some examples. We talked about how you grow your database. We talked about the videos you publish. We have a video blog you can go take a look at. And you can go to our website, getvyral.com. Jeff is a longtime client. On the homepage of our website, you could download the official video marketing plan that will teach you how to reconnect with your neglected list, how to grow it, what to send to it, how often, pretty much exactly what Jeff is doing here. All right. We even have a direct mail component now where we send a monthly postcard to your list, exactly what you're doing, Jeff, with a
Mhm.
screenshot of one of your videos, the strong trackable call to action on the back. All right. And go to jeffcooktv.com to go check out Jeff's blog. And you can always reach out to us to have a strategy call if you want to talk about what it would look like to hire us and all the pricing for our services up on the website. But I want to leave you with one thing. For $175 to go to Charleston, beautiful city, you have the opportunity where Jeff is going to share with you everything he's doing inside of his business, how the whole thing works. For $175, where does someone go to buy that ticket, Jeff?
Inside jcre.com. All the information is on the website, pricing and details and everything we'll be talking about with all the breakouts are there on the site live.
And that's coming up in January 2019.
Yeah.
You're watching an old replay of this.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Jeff, thank you so much for your time today. We're going to end the interview there. You have a great day, buddy.
Thank you, Frank. Take care, buddy.
Bye.